Hey, what's up, Vince?
Rick, what's up?
Hey, I'm just gonna
I
go
can't hear
upstairs.
you.
Hello?
Yep, can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, yeah. I'm
Okay.
gonna go upstairs and grab my power, and then we'll get started.
All right.
Give me a second. All right, I got power. Did
All
you
right.
get the email that we're gonna do the Age of Ultron?
You and me?
Yeah.
Okay. No, but I've just been busy, so yes, let's do it.
Oh, okay. Cool. All
Movie?
right. So, huh?
The movie or the real deal?
No, the movie. We
Okay.
did the comic already. So yeah, you can host,
All
uh,
right.
and then we'll do that, and then
What's the show's name?
never safe for work.
Okay, we're still sticking with that. Okay.
For now. And then yeah, so we'll do the half hour and then we'll just drop it.
Okay.
All right, cool. So anytime you're ready, we already started broadcasting. We're live, so
Okay.
we're in,
All right. Good evening, everyone. This is Vince Hui reporting for Not Safe. Never safe for work. You know what? I knew I was going to mess that one up. Nsfw. We don't really count our episodes, but today is May 27th. Unfortunately, Matt Weber is not here to host today, so that's why I'm butchering the job. But as usual, we are accompanied by our great esteemed colleague, Ricky Williams.
what up? What up?
Gee, trying to get too engaged there. All right. So, I guess we should do the contacts first. If you want to reach us, you can reach us at. This is always the hard part again because I never do this stuff. Um,
Okay.
so first off, we can. What were we gonna say? You can reach us at info@neversafeforwork.com. You can reach Matthew, who is not here. Is Matt's Twitter handle still MTWB?
Yeah. I'm
Okay.
pretty sure.
I can be reached at VWHUI, and Ricky can be reached at Ricky_Williams1, not to be confused with the questionable football player. All right. So,
Oh,
given
I
that
always get
just
them.
you and I, and every so often, when it's me and Matt, we'll talk about music. When it's you and me, we
Action movies.
what?
Action movies.
Action movies or like dumb people movies or like dumb entertaining things. All right, so we are well kicking into high gear for the summer blockbuster period. Tomorrowland aside, we are into the big kickoff. We're going to see Jurassic Park. We are going to see what else are we going to? What are the big blockbusters? We've already saw Fast and Furious 7. We've already
Yeah.
a couple
Age
of
of Ultron.
well, and of course we're going to talk about the Age of Ultron, but there's a whole bunch of blockbusters coming.
There's the that one, the animated one with the
Inside Out.
feelings, yeah, Inside Out. Jurassic Park, I think, is the major one right now. And then just the ones that people are excited that are coming up later.
Well, the other one's Star Wars, but that's December. So we'll hold off for that. Anyways, so we're going to talk about Avengers: Age of Ultron. This is the sequel to Avengers, but in chronological order, I think it happens right after Captain America, the last Captain America, the Winter Soldier. And there's a whole bunch of stuff that you have to know to watch this movie. Unfortunately, though it is a dumb, stupid action movie, in order to really appreciate some of the stories, you can imagine that you have to know a bit about all the other movies, whether it's Thor, Captain America, Iron Man, even the Hulk even. There's all these things coming to play. You even have to know a little bit about those end scenes so you can get a catch-all for, say, the Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. So in this movie, can we give a spoiler for this, or is it too early? Too soon?
Well, if anyone's listening, we already said we're doing it. So if they haven't watched it, they should stop listening. So who gives a shit?
Okay, so
We already
basically,
said the movie we were gonna do.
Ricky says he could care less about you guys. So that all said, in Avengers: Age of Ultron, there's a couple of things that are notable. We have the introduction of the rest of the key core members of the Avengers group. Basically, we have Scarlet Witch, who is the sister of Quicksilver, who in the comic book world are the daughter and son of Magneto, but unfortunately they never allude to it in this particular chronology. They don't in the other.
In the new comics now, they're trying to retcon that. So
Yeah, that's messed up. But they also got to retcon the whole age thing too, because technically, if Magneto was like in the ghettos of World War II, that dude should be like 80. Anyhow, so that said, we also face a crisis now because the Avengers, after the events of Captain America's last movie, Shield has kind of gone into this rogue state because they had some problems with some infiltration and basically sleeper cells in Shield, and Iron Man has taken it upon himself with the Avengers to kind of put an end to all these world problems. And in a nutshell, they basically, in the interest of trying to protect the world, Iron Man creates artificial intelligence to the point with the Hulk, Bruce Banner, to create Ultron, which basically is a sentient AI, and it takes on this ability to create itself out of initially early versions of Iron Man armor, and then ultimately into its own kind of existence. Its mandate originally is to protect the world, but of course, as we all know, it goes horribly wrong because to protect the world, you have to kill humans. So that's the whole premise of the movie. He tries to set up an apocalyptic condition. They go all around the world doing various random things. I mean, if you want to talk about just disjointed storyline, everything from the weird vision quest that we have with Thor to the whole craziness of going to Wakanda for the adamantium, or sorry, vibranium. So they're just trying to mix and match all these storylines together. At the end of the day, they, for some reason, figure out that the Infinity Gem is what has been inside Loki's staff, which powers what's his name? Ultron, and then it ultimately becomes Vision, because the whole premise is that Ultron's trying to make a human body, Vision is the android that does it, and there's an ongoing gag of picking up Thor's hammer, and at the end of the day, the Avengers effectively disband. Thor leaves the Avengers. He will be replaced by what we suspect is Black Panther. Who else? Hulk leaves because he can't deal with his own anger issues, and he is then instead replaced or will be replaced by, I think, Ant-Man at some point. Scarlet Witch is the only one that lives because her brother dies, which is one of the first times we've seen someone...
Well, Falcon's there, too.
Oh, yeah, Falcon comes in now, too, yeah. But you can imagine that the next Avengers movie, or at least the next version of some Marvel book with maybe Civil War, the Avengers will be a significantly different team. So... I think that's the movie in a nutshell. I know I skipped a whole bunch, but quite frankly, if you did not know your movie or comic book history, you would be really lost. Let's call a spade, Rick. Like, there is a lot of stuff going on now.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think each of us should go through it if you want. I think, you gave a synopsis. I think what we should do would be cool is just sort of each of us go through the things we like, the things that didn't make sense, and then, so if you want to go ahead, because you saw it first and you sort of gave a synopsis, and then I'll do my bit.
I think we can go back and forth, because I think I need some support on this, because remember the last time we talked, my question was about Iron Man and the end of Iron Man 3, where he kind of had all the suits, and you guys had said, because I said, well, didn't he just kind of quit being Iron Man? You said, no, he quit basically using the art reactor to power himself or something like that. But that doesn't make all that much sense because, again, maybe I haven't watched the movie in a long time, but I thought that was the reason why he blew up all the Iron Man suits, because he just didn't want to do Iron Man anymore. And to me, that didn't make all that much sense. So that was one big outstanding issue where I was like, so they never allude to Iron Man taking on the initiative at the end of Captain America's last movie to do that. So I was a little bit lost. I'm not so keen on the Hawkeye having a wife and kids thing, given that the last Avengers, it was pretty much Hawkeye and Black Widow making really sexual overtures to each other. So that seemed a little bit disjointed too. And of course, I can imagine that you don't know what the time frame between the Avengers and the most recent Avengers is. But given that he's got a wife and kids, you'd assume that hey, brainwashing be damned. Hawkeye's pretty scumbaggy there, or at least Scarlett Johansson. Sorry, what's her face? Black Widow's pretty how do you say seductive. The other issue is, of course, Thor's storyline. He just comes in and out. Like, if it was, if it hadn't been for him leaving and coming and going, they really could have done a good job. Like, I mean, Thor just could have come in and beat the hell out of everyone. He's pretty much a god. He could have just fixed it all, right? But conveniently, he had to do this weird Vision Quest thing so that he can go into Ragnarok at some point. And quite frankly, I'm still perplexed about the relationship with Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. It seemed really forced fit, and I don't see why. Like, Ultron, it was one of those weird convoluted stories where Ultron banks on certain things, certain people to do certain things, like in particular Scarlet Witch, to kind of implant that fear into Iron Man. I don't know how convoluted a mastermind he would have been to ensure that that happens, but it seemed just very force fit to have Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver brought into the mix because of the continuity of the comic books. But if you were Ultron, you would not do that. And then when it comes to the powers that Ultron has, why wouldn't he just have taken over Iron Man's armor, or taken over a whole bunch of other things? If he could take over Jarvis, why didn't he just take over, like, say, the
but he didn't take over Jarvis, though. Jarvis ran from him.
Yeah, but I mean, the implication was that he was powerful enough to control all the Iron Man suits. He was powerful enough to do a whole bunch of things, and yet, if he was really good, he would just like power down Iron Man's suit, power down, or like turn the Shield helicopter, or what do they call it, the
helicarrier.
Helicarrier. Why didn't he just like power it down when they're all about to to use that as extra leverage to drop the city to cause the Holocaust asteroid impact, right? Like, there's so many questions. Like, if this guy was so good and like existed on the net basically and controlled all these electronics, then why wouldn't he just have done the most simple thing, right? Instead of making an army of like his little clones to like do the dirty work. That made little to no sense to me. Anyways,
yeah, but I think I mean, for me, like, I heard people already talking about it and stuff. So I'm just gonna. I think we'll just talk about the questions you raised with Ultron first of all, and then I'll go into the things I liked and the things I didn't like. I think if you think about the comic, right? Like, you and I know Ultron was created by Hank Pym.
Yep.
And in that we see that even though Ultron is this ultra powerful AI, and he's there's millions of versions of him, they can never kill him, but ultimately he's flawed because he's based on the brain patterns of Hank Pym. And so obviously with this one, it's the same thing. They allude to it, is that even though he's AI, he's sort of built like a kid of Tony Stark, and so I think maybe from that, we all know that as great as Tony Stark is, he's a great inventor, he's a great mind, but he's also got this great ego.
Yep.
And so with that, it's the same thing, right? Because they're saying, oh, we all know Ultron's waiting for you because he thinks that you're his creator, so you're the one he's got to get rid of. So you can see that Ultron also must have that ego too.
Yep.
And so that if you think about that, Vision, it's the same thing where Vision doesn't have that ego. and it's where they talk to him, and it's like, okay, you got to choose a side, and he says, well, you know what, there's no sides here. I see his point, but I just don't agree with the way he's going about it. I don't want to kill everyone. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, um, but I'll go through the things I like. For me, I think with Thor, I think that, they are setting up Ragnarok. You can obviously see it where he sees the vision, he sees everyone dying, they say it's his fault. Um, they're also setting up for Civil War, which is to have two different factions. And in the end, you can see that because now Captain America has his new team, right? Which you already said it has Falcon, it has Scarlet Witch, it has Black Widow. I think Black Panther is rumored to be in it. And then there's going to be, Tony's team, which is going to probably be, Tony, and they've already said that General Ross is coming back. So
Yep.
whether he's going to be the Red Hulk or is he just going to be the government, whatever, right? Spidey's going to be in it. So they have to have two factions. So they're creating that. Thor is going to be on Iron Man's side. So they're creating that these are the guys who leave in the end. So they're already creating that thing where Thor is needed elsewhere. His allegiance is not so 100%. And I think they've already said that in Civil War Thor is not even going to be around because there's the whole Ragnarok and he's going to be in some space jail or whatever. So that didn't bother me with him being in and out. I thought that was fine. But then I'm biased because he's my favorite character. Um, uh, Let me see, what else did I like? I mean, overall, I love the movie. Like, I'd go see it again, like, right now. But, for me, remember, like, I just like action. I love entertainment. Like, I go there to be entertained. I do agree with you on a certain level that, yes, if you do sort of see the other movies, you would understand what's going on. But I mean, let's be clear. Marvel's purpose is to sell movies. It's not, oh, whoopee, we make this, for your enjoyment. We don't care if you see our, I mean, their whole thing is to sell movies. Just like, Apple's purpose as a company is to sell products. You know what I mean? So, yeah, they take their TV shows and try to entice you to see the movies, and they're going to take the new movie and try to entice you to go and see movies that came before it. Just like the mid-credit scene in this one is setting up the next movies in the phase. The things I didn't like you, I didn't like that Hawkeye had a family. Like, in the comics, Hawkeye and Black Widow are very. It's basically they're want to be together, but things are never right for them to be. Um, and here, like you said in the other movie, there was a tension between them, and I think Marvel decided it's better to go with the Hulk Black Widow thing rather than have the three-way triangle between them. And so giving him the family, like you said, just seems weird. And even from the angle where all the other Avengers, if you look at it, they don't have anyone else. So if they die in combat, there's no one to suffer the repercussions.
Yep.
Like, on top of it, he is he's a non-powered. Like, he doesn't have a suit like Tony Stark. So he's very vulnerable. And, to know that you have a family waiting at home for you, I think especially in the last part where Quicksilver dies and then you see him lay down next to him.
Yeah.
I think they wanted to create a tension where people in the theater were thinking, oh my God, is he hurt? Is he dead? And the fact that he has a family, it's like, oh my God, how is this? And then he shows up at the farmhouse. On top of that, I think they wanted to give that as the reason because he's another member of the group that leaves, right? So I think they wanted to give that as another reason for him to leave.
Hmm.
I just think it just didn't, the reasoning was there, but it just didn't fit with the whole thing. The Black Widow and Hulk thing, I think that is also weird. With her being able to calm him down, and it's just I don't know. It's fun when he's Bruce Banner because she's flirting with him and he really doesn't get it, and he's a nerd and all that sort of stuff, and he's a scientist and whatever. He's awkward about it, but when he's the Hulk, I don't know, it just seems really weird because you have this thing where the Hulk is supposed to be mindless, and the fact that he recognizes her and he won't hurt her just makes it not seem so much, you know what I mean? Like
What do you
I
mean?
don't know for
Said
that.
nothing.
Well, like Bruce Banner is afraid of when he becomes the Hulk because he doesn't have any control of it, right? Like
Yeah.
they make it seem like the Hulk is this mindless rage, and if the Hulk recognizes her, so it's like they're trying to say Banner is deep down there, and I don't know. For me, it just doesn't play as well because it's like, how would he be so afraid and yet Hulk, notices her?
Well, don't they
I
imply
just,
it was implied that the Hulk persona and it's like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing where he really doesn't. They actually are two separate personalities, if I recall.
yeah.
So that was
Well,
something.
so that's what I'm saying, right? So if they're saying that the Hulk is like this rage-filled monster, and like I don't see him calming down when she's around. That would be more of a connection with Bruce Banner, not with the Hulk. You know what I mean? Those were pretty. And the thing I hated the most. I mean, I've heard that Marvel has said they're gonna stop doing the post-credit scenes, which I think is
They
stupid.
did it for Star Wars though, eh? Did you hear that?
Yeah.
They're gonna put post-credit scenes in Star Wars. I was like, what the hell's that?
Good. Well, I like them, so I'm glad to hear that.
God damn you.
They did it was more like a mid credit. I think if they do that, it would be cool because it keeps you on your toes. Because if you keep doing post credit, people just kind of expect it. If they do mid credit or then they do post credit or whatever, I think the reason I like it is because it gives you a little hint of something extra
Yeah.
right at the end. Um, the thing I didn't like with this mid-credit scene for this one was Thanos. I didn't like the look of him. He just looked too fakey. It was just it didn't look like the Thanos like you see
Like
in the
badass.
comics, yeah, like that you expect. I mean, I haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy yet, but I heard in that like he's really, I mean, maybe it just looks the same and everyone else likes it and I don't. But I did like the fact of him having the gauntlet without any of the gems. I
Yep.
just didn't like the look of the Thanos.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty cool how Vision has. I'm guessing it's the soul gem because obviously he's an android, so he has no soul. So that would obviously give him his soul.
Mhm.
Um, the thing that so it's like so that means is Thanos gonna kill Vision then because that's obviously for him to get that gem. You know what I mean? Like that's what's gonna be happening. Or is that one of the reasons why we can expect that Thanos is never gonna get the Infinity Gauntlet? You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. Um,
Yeah, the
I
movie.
mean, overall for me, I would give it a 10 out of 10 just
Holy
because.
crap.
Well, the thing for me that I look at when I score them is whether I would go see it again. And like I said, I would go see it tomorrow if I want, like if I could, I guess.
Jeez, man, that is okay. So I would watch it if it was like just on TV again, right? Like I mean, not actually watch it. I just like listen to it while I'm doing something else, right? But you know what? I think it's a good summer movie. Not it's like what you expect, right? But I gotta say that if it was anyone but like guys like us, like if you invited, I don't know, is your wife a comic
Yeah,
and
she went there. She saw it.
but does she know comics and stuff?
No.
No. But she enjoyed it and she could follow all the stories in the backlog and just go,
Well, she's seen all the other ones with me, so she's a
oh,
little more like she's not like she's seen pretty much all of the other ones. Dark World, the very first Thor, and she actually likes Thor movies. And she tolerates Captain America. She liked the very first Avengers movie,
mhm.
but she doesn't follow any of the comics, and she doesn't watch any of like she does. I watch Agents of Shield. She doesn't watch it. She doesn't watch any other comic show. Like we watch The Flash, but she only watches it when I'm watching and she's there. It's not like she actively watches it with me.
Okay.
But like I said, she likes the Thor movies, but she's seen them all, so she understands what's going on. She's seen all the Iron Man movies and stuff, but she enjoyed it. Um,
Hmm.
I mean, overall, I would agree with you. Someone fresh face, just walking in, it's gonna be a 50-50. But I mean, this is banking on people who have seen the very first Avengers,
Yeah.
right? So it's not like they're banking on people who just walked right in and, it's either going to be people who go in there with someone knowing, so they're going to explain to them afterwards, or it's going to be people who have already seen Avengers, probably already seen Iron Man, if they've seen, Captain America, so they're going to have some sort of clue. But I think as a vehicle, it did its job. It introduced the concepts of leading up to Ragnarok. I think that it did that one very well. Leading up to Civil War, not so much. I think Civil War is going to have a little bit at the start, because it's not like this introduced tensions. At the end, they were all friends again.
Yep.
They all left. But I think them leaving and there's this other team that is a precursor to Civil War. So I think, it did what it was supposed to do. It was a fun film. One of the things I didn't like was that Quicksilver died. I don't, I mean, I,
Surprised at that though, weren't you?
yeah, I was thrown by that, and I didn't like it. I didn't, like, but I mean, you know what? If you look at it, they have to kill some character. It only makes sense, right? Because you can't have this team going up against all these odds, and every single time no one dies, right?
I
So,
understand that.
why it was Quicksilver, I don't understand. Another thing I didn't like was, like you said, Ultron's this ultra powerful, whatever, and he just wants to destroy this one little country.
Well, no, no, no,
Yes,
no.
I know the impact of it dropping would decimate the rest of the Earth, but with the Avengers on your tail, you know what I mean? Like, at worst case scenario, you're just gonna end up killing the people on that one little tiny rock. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That to me was just a little ho hum. Like, if they would have kept that country on the earth and had Ultron, you know, say, okay, I'm going to battle you here, But because my, conscience is in the internet, as soon as you beat me here, I'm transported to this other robot and have the Avengers say, okay, we're gonna have to split up. We can't fight them all together. You know what I mean? Like, just having everyone concentrated on this tiny little rock, it just seemed kind of not big enough for me. I did like Hulk kicking ass though. I think they needed more of that. I like him fighting against Iron Man because it really showed like what a freaking powerhouse he is. I did
Well, I
like
mean, you knew that he was a powerhouse already. I was just surprised that that Iron Man suit can take such an ass kicking.
that. Hey, it's Iron Man. Iron Man's like their Batman. He wants to have contingencies for everything. He's just a little more debonair.
Yeah, well, I mean, at the end of the day, though, the movie was okay. I'm actually thinking that the upcoming movies like Civil War and certainly whatever, like I think Thor comes before the Infinity,
Yeah,
right?
I'm pretty sure it does. Yeah.
There's going to have to get a lot of ground to cover. They're going to cover a lot of ground in order to get to a proper Infinity Gauntlet series. Okay, um, and quite frankly, I really don't think that they can pull off a decent Civil War story arc with the like. I think because the next movie is a Civil War, isn't it?
Well, Ant-Man's.
Oh, sorry, after Ant-Man. Yeah, but they're not going to cover a lot of Civil War stuff in Ant-Man, and they're just going to jump right into so either Civil War is going to suck because they're only going to have like six people because it's there's only six people existent in the Marvel comic book universe right now because like the X-Men are kind of underground and all stuff. So it's going to be either like a small little war or it's going to be like really crappy. So I worry about that because they got a story to make up.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, um, I don't know. Like, okay, so, okay, we know Black Panther is going to be in it, and they've already introduced because they introduced Wakanda
Yep.
in this one, right? We know Spidey's going to be in it because they've already said that they're doing, because the thing is, Marvel Studios didn't have the license to Spidey.
Yep.
Sony does. And the same thing with X-Men. Marvel doesn't have the rights to them. Fox does, or Century 20, whatever. Yeah, I think it's Fox.
Yep.
So the thing is, they can't bring in X-Men. X-Men wasn't even that huge a part of the Civil War storyline, anyways. So they're doing Ant-Man. What Black Panther is going to be in it. Spidey's going to be in it. The thing is, if you look at it, like Civil War is a huge arc with all the superheroes, but if you look at it, like the actual Age of Ultron comic book is pretty much the same kind of thing. It's a huge arc. It has Fury. It has Fantastic Four. It has Wolverine, because remember they travel back in time to kill Hank Pym. It has Hank Pym. So it's very similar. So I'm not so worried about Civil War because I know they're obviously going to change it drastically,
Yeah.
just like they changed Age of Ultron. And, Age of Ultron, it wasn't like a knockout of the park. But I think, with Spidey in there, I think a lot of people are going to be excited about that. And I think they know that, so they're going to be pulling out a lot more, um, you know, it'll be interesting because there's still time. So who knows if they're going to, try to make a deal. Maybe they'll make a deal and bring in Fantastic Four because then
Yeah.
there's the new
I think
Fantastic Four movie coming out, right?
split these Fantastic Four, right? Like the
Yeah,
Fantastic Four, it's Richards joins with Iron Man, Sue joins with Captain America, right?
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah, we'll see, we'll see. I'm cautiously optimistic. They seem. I mean, if you look at Marvel movies, they always make a ton of money. They know their shit. It's gonna be good. It's just whether it's gonna be as good. But then, the thing is that for us, we read the comics,
Yep.
but for the majority of the audience, they didn't. So they don't have that expectation of, oh, will it live up to this story, right? So it's just whether they can make a story that's exciting enough.
Yeah, no, I get you.
So, yeah.
In any event, there's tons of comic book movies. I know we're running out at the end of the time, but just very quickly, Ricky, you and I both live in Toronto. As you know, I teach nearby downtown Toronto. I'm not sure if you got wind of it, but I actually saw the Batmobile.
Oh yeah, that's because they're filming the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, it was weird because
There's a chase between Joker and the Batmobile.
yeah, well, I don't know if it's Joker. I didn't see that. I saw it after
No, he's in the movie.
for sure. Well, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, he
played
is.
by Leto.
Yeah, Jared Leto.
Yeah.
But the thing that I want to say is that a month ago, I was at Yonge and Dundas Square, and I saw all these police cars, like for like Central City, and I was like, "What the hell, Central City? It's not even Gotham. It's not Metropolis. What the hell?" So I was like looking at this, going, "What the hell movie are they shooting?" Right? And then now I'm like, "Oh, it was always Suicide Squad." But have you seen any of it? Like, it's crazy in Toronto. It's like Hollywood North. So I was
I
wondering if
know.
you saw any crazy Hollywood stuff.
No, the only thing I seen them setting up for that chase that you were talking about. You saw the Batmobile, and then this morning I seen them setting up one street over from Young. They're setting up to do some sort of filming there. You know where the Silver Snail is?
That's by my universe. That's right by me,
Yeah,
man. That's
so
where it
it's
is.
the street right in front of the Silver Snail. So they're going to be shooting something there because they've got everything all lined up with the crane, the lift thingy with the light on it and blah blah blah. But I haven't seen any of the actors or anything like that. So.
No, that's exciting, man. Like I think everyone. I think at some point we should just talk about just the glut of superhero movies and if it's gonna like super.
Oh yeah, we should definitely because I'm pretty scared about it just becoming, about it just phasing out now. Because if you look at it on TV, okay, so you got Agents of Shield on the Marvel side. You got Agents of Shield. You got Agent Carter. You got Netflix or Daredevil on Netflix. Okay, on the DC side, you got Arrow. You got Flash, Gotham, and now they're doing this Legends of Tomorrow, which looks kick-ass, by the way. And you got Supergirl.
Oh, Supergirl's for sure.
Yeah, they've already run a trailer.
Really?
Yep. So. And that's just TV. So then, you look and like we've already said this year, so you've got Age of Ultron, you've got Ant-Man, they've already scheduled Civil War, Ragnarok, the Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Infinity Wars, you got Batman v Superman, Suicide Squad. I mean, it just goes on, and there's already talks of lesser known comics like what is that one called, Static Shock.
Oh yeah, what Will Smith?
Will Smith's kid.
That's terrible.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm getting a little scared because.
But you know what? To be fair, when they first announced Guardians of the Galaxy, I said that was going to be the death of Marvel comic book movies, and I don't know how, but it's
going. And Star Wars, I forgot to bring up Star Wars.
Yeah, but Star Wars is going to be an issue for me because one Star Wars movie every year is pretty intense. Not to mention the Clone Wars, the Star Wars Rebels TV series. But I think I might be more worried about comics because it's just like they're all interlaced. They're all like really mushrooming, if anything. And like remember in the '90s when Arnold Schwarzenegger started coming out like every 5 months with a movie, and then we were just like forget it. And then that's what led to Arnold Schwarzenegger's like movie career death for a bit. So that's why I worry about the comics right now.
Yeah, so we'll have to pick that up in the next thing.
All right. So that's today's show. Again, you can reach us. Should I even go through the things again?
No, you did at the start. So
just want to say thank you again, guys. Send your hate mails to Matt, not us. And I guess that's it for tonight. So
back next week.
Yep.
All right. Take it easy.